So, Craig, question for you about that. He's right. Who has more pressure to be successful in these playoffs on the Cowboys team? Is it Mike McCarthy, Dak Prescott, or Micah Parsons?
Yeah, I think it's a two-headed monster of Dak Prescott and Mike McCarthy, right? Because it's a quarterback-driven league. You're the face of the franchise. And Mike McCarthy, of course, went to Dallas because he had won a Super Bowl in Green Bay and been to the playoffs so many times. So I think the most pressure is, of course, on them. But a very close second is going to be Micah Parsons and then CeeDee Lamb, because these are the faces of the organization.
Absolutely. You're right. Look, obviously, because of the past history, that Dak Prescott not being able to get it done, Mike McCarthy, his woes in the playoffs as a coach outside of the Super Bowl year that he's had with the Green Bay Packers.
Like coaching blunders at the end of games, all that stuff, yeah.
But Micah Parsons, because he is the voice of this team, because we hear him talk about legacy and all the other things that we've heard him talk about all season long, he is if there's 1A, he's 1B. Because sometimes in games, like he said, your stars have to shine the brightest. And I don't care about the amount of pressures that he gets. What I care about is he better impact the game. I need to see it. I don't want to read about it. I want to see it with my own eyes that he is impacting the game and allowing his teammates, if he's not able to get to the quarterback, opportunities to get to the quarterback. He has to be great.
By the way, because he's not a quarterback, obviously he's not going to get the same level of attention. But Micah Parsons has been in 3 playoff games in his career. He's got 1 sack. Right? He's got 1 win. Right? So as much as it's about, what Dak Prescott's legacy and Mike McCarthy, did we hire the right guy? Does Dan Quinn want the job if we fire Mike? Are we going after Bill Belichick or Jim Harbaugh? All those things that become talk show fodder if they lose, which we'll be front and center on, obviously, applies to those other guys. But the focus and the weight of it is always going to be on the coach and the quarterback.
Yeah, and I think Greg is 100% right. As a ball player, when you get into the playoffs, this is how your legacy is made, right? Whether it's a catch or a big-time sack or whatever. But overall, Micah Parsons going into this game, he has to understand he has a payday ahead of him, right? If you want to be paid and you want to be considered one of the top guys in the league, you have to perform on a big stage. Here's a big stage. At home against Green Bay, you have to be the difference maker like Greg was saying. But overall, don't just impact the game. Go get it, right? You have 14 sacks on the season. You had 18 tackles for losses. Be that type of impact player that we don't have to question if you're being double teamed. Because great players, even though they double team, they still get home. He has to be able to do that.
And I would also say this to Micah Parsons. We've talked about it all year long. He loves the microphone.
Yes.
He doesn't like the criticism that comes from other people in front of the microphone, but he's in love with his own voice. Well, you can't have it both ways. If you go out there and play a bad game, or if Green Bay figures out how to defend you and they take advantage of the weaknesses in the Cowboy defense, which we know is the run defense, right? All of a sudden, all the eyes are going to shift to you.
Yes.
And they're going to say, what did you do to help the Dallas Cowboys advance to an NFC Championship game?
That's exactly right. And for me, I just want to see Micah Parsons hit that gear that we saw at the beginning of the season. We were talking about this young man as a potential MVP candidate.
I'll do you one better than that, because we all poo-pooed it at the time because we're really good at what we do. But remember they said, is Micah Parsons the next Lawrence Taylor? And we said, shut your mouth.
It's like,
don't speak about the God.
Yeah, they said Harold Miner. They said Harold Miner was the next Michael Jordan too.
We heard.
It's and another thing that happened here is the Eagles. We love celebrating the Eagles collapse, right?
Yeah,
that's fun for us. It's a lot of fun for us. But one of the things the Eagles collapse did is it put even more pressure on the Cowboys. You now are the 2 seed. You have the 7 seed coming to town. The Green Bay Packers, who barely beat the Bears to get into the playoffs. You've got to win that one. And then you're going to have either the Bucks or the Lions come to town. You got to win that one too. They need to win these 2 games. They've won, what is it, Craig, 15, 16 games?
16 straight. They're undefeated this year.
So now it's they have it, I'll say it out loud, they have an easy path to the NFC Championship.
Well, look, sometimes everyone makes the mistake of only looking at the last game or how a team got in. So right now, and I respect the fact that people are feeling really good about your Green Bay Packers. Jordan Love played very well. They overcame a lot of injuries, obviously. And Jordan Love kind of up and down early on after those first 2 great weeks. And then he steadied himself, and the Green Bay Packers, on merit, get into the playoffs. So there's kind of this feeling of, are the Cowboys going to lose to the Green Bay Packers? No. They're going to blow the Packers out and win by double digits because that's what they do at home. then it gets real for them because then it's a step up in class as in regards to who your opponent is.
Yeah, but we also talked about from the Green Bay aspect, you don't know what you don't know, right? This is a young outfit.
They're not beating Dallas and Dallas.
You said that about a lot of teams. The bottom line is, I watched Green Bay go against the Detroit Lions and say Green Bay won't have Thanksgiving. They went right out the gate, punched them in the mouth.
2 touchdowns on the opening 2 drives, right?
And Dallas has to start faster. They can't sleepwalk into this game. So who knows what happens?
The Dallas Cowboys are a touchdown favorite for a reason. They're a dominant home team. As good as the Ravens are, as good as San Francisco is, there's no better team at home than the Dallas Cowboys. Their average margin of victory is damn near 3 touchdowns. They don't. Not only do they not lose at home, it ain't close.
Yeah, but Craig, you got to go back to that Detroit game. Detroit stopped them. Shut down the Dallas Cowboys run game. Loaded the box, pressures after pressure. It was the refs that pretty much won that game for the Cowboys. So it wasn't like it was a cakewalk in that game against a playoff contender.
That should have been their first home loss. You're right.
We're moving on to second in football. Let's talk about your guy, Joe Flacco, Willie. Willie, talk about your guy, Joe Flacco.
There's so much to say about the guy. Craig, I mean,
come on, stop.
So much.
He is the darling of the NFL.
He said it was unbelievable. Not really a compliment. And he said he's been doing it a long time. Not really a compliment.
4-1 as a starter. You talk about his pocket patience. You talk about his ability with the big arm. I mean, he could take a nap on the sideline and still score a touchdown. There's nothing the man can't do, Craig.
If anybody actually said, with like life on the line, are you surprised that 38-year-old Joe Flacco, coming off the disaster he was with the New York Jets the previous couple of years, was going to have the kind of performances he's had? And you say, it doesn't surprise me. You're lying through your teeth.
Craig, he has over 180 starts.
I'm sorry. I love this story.
So
this is so much fun. But here's what I like from my starting quarterback of a football team, especially in a playoff situation. I like them to be conscious on the sideline. Okay? During the game, I like them to. This man is nodding off in the middle of the game.
That was during the Jets.
Yeah. It was a night game. I've done that several times in my career.
Which is wild.
You fell asleep on the sideline?
Look, I'm on the sideline. Oh, we got this? Yeah.
Oh, man.
Look, Joe Flacco is one of the great stories this year. You know, Dobbs was for a few weeks, obviously. Yeah. Joe Flacco's a great story. But please don't get it twisted. Like Joe Flacco, and I take nothing away from him.
You are. You can't say that. You're about to take something away from him.
But the dude is an interception machine. That's what he does best.
It's combo this. For 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. It happens.
The one thing we talk about with the Texans, outside of the great play of C.J. Stroud, is their defense, right? Their defense. We talk about it, that D'Amico Ryan's done a great job with their defense. Right. So I know you love the combo meal. I get it, all right? I'll take my 2 tutties with an interception all day long.
4-1 as a starter.
As long as you understand the interceptions are coming.
Yeah, but when Amari Cooper was on the field against the Texans, he had a record-breaking day. Like, Joe Flacco loves playing.
You think he's going to go for 250
I think he's going to go bonkers out there. I think he's going to dominate the Texans.
Look, I'm Mr. Cleveland. I told you I lived there for a year.
You say
I had
that,
season tickets in the dog pound. I am rooting for the Cleveland Browns.
Are you crazy?
Yes,
put the respect on Flacco's name.
There's a difference between rooting for a team to win and telling the audience flat out lies.
What do you mean? Flacco has come and he's prepared to serve.
Yes.
What do you want him to do?
He's still Joe Flacco. He's still Joe Flacco.
The man is 4-1, coming off the couch. He was talking about taking his kids to school, and now he has brought. You talk about a team that had Deshaun Watson gone, P.J. Walker, the other guy, whatever his name was, done, right?
Yes.
Flacco came as the white knight on the horse and said, "I have arrived, Cleveland."
That's
and
right.
They're going into Texas, and they're going to beat the Texans.
Yeah.
Why can't I bring race into this? Yeah. Moving on. Saquon Barkley.
The horse was black.
My bad. Saquon Barkley had this to say about being franchise tag. Quote, "They did it last year. I'm numb to it. I don't have any feelings toward it at all. If you're going to do it, just don't wait until March 5th. Just get it over with. If not, let me go simple." Craig.
He's going to be franchised. I said that last year. I'm going to say it again this year because it's in the. Why would the Giants allow their best offensive player to walk out the door for 0 compensation? And the way the business of the NFL is, the New York Giants control him contractually. And they could do it again the year after this if they wanted to. Number one. Number two, the Giants decide when they're going to make a decision on Saquon Barkley, not Saquon Barkley. And we could talk to her blue in the face about how they're mistreating him, how they're not doing him right. The guy's missed half his career with injuries. And while he's a great player while he's healthy, he made $10 million last year as a starting running back for one of the worst offenses in the history of football. The New York Giants control all the cards with Saquon. And if you're a pro player guy, you may not like that, and I respect that. I'm a pro player guy, and I thought they did him a little dirty last year, waiting until the last minute. I didn't think he was right for a guy that wants to be a Giant for life. But it's the business of football. You guys have experienced this in your lifetimes yourselves and with dear friends of yours. If the New York Giants want Saquon Barkley back, it's a one-year deal for $12.2 million, period, stop. No sense in crying about it. No sense in worrying about it. They're not going to let him walk out the door and get nothing in return, because that, by definition, is bad business.
Yeah, totally understand that. Totally agree with what you're saying. However, I love Saquon's approach right now. It's different tone than last year. Last year was, I want to be a Giant, whatever happens, you know. No, he's letting them know that, look, I understand what the business is like now. I get it.
Yeah.
If you're going to do it, just let me know right away. Don't drag it out and make me wait and then sign a guy right after you tag me for a long-term extension. Just don't do those types of things to kind of rub it in my face.
But here's the deal. They can still do what they want.
They can, absolutely.
Right.
Yeah, but don't you think he also should not go back? Like, if I'm him, I'm like, listen, do what you want, but I'm not showing up. I would fight tooth and nail to get me out of the building.
No, you can't do that.
Yeah.
But why not?
It's because you'll never make the money back. And the threat of a holdout's not real, because you're now a 28-year-old, whatever he is, running back coming off major injuries, right, who needs to make the money he's going to make this upcoming year. We may not like it. We may think they're doing him wrong. But it's their right to do it.
It is, and you have to play. You have to play.
Yeah, sitting out's not an option, especially for running backs.
I think he's dying in New York. I think he's a hell of a running back, and he's going to block him. All that said, I would fight my way out of there. Somehow, some way, sit down with the mirror, sit down with somebody, listen, do me a service, get me out of here. Whatever you want me to do, I just need to get out of here.
I can tell you this, the $12 million he's going to make if they do franchise him, no other team's going to offer him $12 million.
It's true.
They're just not.
It's true.
I mean, sorry, not sorry. That's the reality for being a running back.
It is.
He might get 7. He ain't getting 12 on the open market, and no one's going to give up 2 first-rounders for him either, which would be the compensation if you franchise him and then a team comes in and says, we'll take him. That's where that works as well. Hey there. Thank you so much for watching The Carton Show. You can subscribe right here to get all the latest bits and segments from the show. And by the way, while you're at it, we have a lot of great shows on FS1, so check them out too.